Right now, as you are sitting here watching this, your heart is doing something incredibly important. It is squeezing, pushing, and working nonstop to move blood through over 60,000 miles of blood vessels inside your body. 60,000 miles. That is more than twice the distance around the entire Earth. And here is what almost nobody tells you. In just 2 minutes, you can do something so simple, so ordinary, that it actually signals your entire blood pressure system to calm down. Not a pill. Not a hospital machine, not something that costs you money. Just a simple, almost invisible action your body already knows how to respond to. But before I tell you what it is, and I will, I promise, I need to explain something that most people with high blood pressure have completely wrong. Because if you have been told that your blood pressure is high and the only answer is medication or less salt or more exercise, you have only heard half the story. The other half is something most doctors never have time to explain in a 10-minute appointment. And that other half is exactly what this video is about. Stay with me. What I am about to share could genuinely change how you manage your blood pressure for the rest of your life. Let's start with what most people believe. Most people believe that high blood pressure is caused by one thing: too much salt, too much fat, too much stress, maybe genetics. And yes, all of those play a role. But here is what most people don't realize. Blood pressure is not just a number on a machine. It is a real-time signal that your body is sending you every single second. It tells you about the state of your blood vessels, your nervous system, your kidneys, your hormones, and even your breathing. When your blood pressure spikes, it is rarely because of just one thing. It is because several systems inside your body are quietly working against each other. And the most overlooked system of all, the one almost nobody talks about, is your nervous system. Specifically, something called the autonomic nervous system. This system has two modes. Think of it like a car. One mode is the gas pedal. That is called the sympathetic nervous system. It speeds everything up. It raises your heart rate. It tightens your blood vessels. It raises your blood pressure. The other mode is the brake pedal. That is called the parasympathetic nervous system. It slows things down. It relaxes blood vessels. It lowers your heart rate. It brings blood pressure down. Here's the problem most people over the age of 50 are facing without even knowing it. Their gas pedal is stuck. Not because they are panicking, not because they are running from danger, but because of the invisible, relentless pressure of modern daily life. The worry, the screen time, the poor sleep, the inflammatory foods, the shallow breathing, all of it keeps the sympathetic nervous system quietly activated all day, every day. And when that gas pedal stays pressed even slightly, your blood vessels stay slightly tighter than they should be. Your heart beats slightly harder than it needs to. And your blood pressure stays elevated even when you feel calm. This is the real hidden mechanism behind so many cases of high blood pressure. Not just salt, not just stress, but a nervous system that never fully shifts into the brake mode. And this changes everything, because if you know how to flip that switch, even for 2 minutes, your body actually responds. But first, I need to explain why this gets so much worse after the age of 50, because aging does something very specific to this system, and understanding it will make everything click. When you were young, your nervous system was flexible. It moved quickly between the gas and the brake. You got scared. Heart rate went up. Danger passed. Heart rate came back down. You exercised hard. Blood pressure rose. You rested. It dropped back smoothly. That flexibility is called heart rate variability, and it is one of the most powerful indicators of cardiovascular health. Here is what happens as we age. After 50, heart rate variability naturally starts to decline. The nervous system becomes less flexible. It takes longer to shift between modes. And for many people, it starts spending more and more time stuck on the gas pedal. At the same time, something else is happening. Your arteries are changing. Young arteries are elastic. They expand and contract with each heartbeat, absorbing the pressure wave like a rubber hose. But with age, those arteries gradually stiffen. The elastin fibers inside the vessel walls break down. Calcification can begin. Inflammation adds more stiffness. And suddenly, instead of absorbing the pressure wave, the artery walls resist it. That resistance forces your heart to work harder. Your blood pressure goes up, and it stays up. Now add to that the hormonal changes that happen after 50. In women, estrogen, which actually helps keep blood vessels relaxed and flexible, drops sharply during menopause. Many women see their blood pressure rise noticeably in the years following menopause, and they are confused because they were fine before. In men, testosterone levels decline, and so does the body's ability to regulate vascular tone efficiently. And then there is the kidney factor. Your kidneys are the master regulators of blood pressure. They control how much sodium and water stay in the body. The more fluid, the higher the volume, the higher the pressure. After 50, kidney function begins to subtly decline. The kidneys become slightly less efficient at clearing sodium, fluid balance becomes harder to maintain, and blood pressure creeps higher. Here is something that surprises most people. Your posture also affects your blood pressure. As we age, the muscles along the spine and neck weaken. Many people develop what is called forward head posture. The chin drifts forward, the upper back rounds. This compresses the blood vessels in the neck, slightly restricts breathing depth, and actually activates the sympathetic nervous system. Sitting slightly hunched over a phone or a computer screen for hours every day is quietly pushing your blood pressure up. Most people have no idea. And finally, sleep. After 60, the quality of deep sleep declines dramatically. Deep sleep is when your blood pressure is supposed to drop. It is called the nocturnal dip. During healthy deep sleep, blood pressure naturally falls 10 to 20%. But if your sleep is fragmented, if you wake up frequently, if you snore heavily, if you have even mild sleep apnea, that nocturnal dip disappears. Your blood pressure stays elevated through the night, and it wakes up elevated too. These are the forces that combine after age 50 to create persistently high blood pressure. Not just one cause, a whole orchestra of causes playing at the same time. And here is the hopeful part. Because almost every one of these mechanisms can be influenced. Your nervous system can be retrained, your vessels can be protected, your breathing can be deepened, your posture can be corrected, and it starts with understanding that the simplest interventions done consistently reach deeper into your biology than most people imagine. Let me tell you about someone who discovered this. His name was Robert. He was 67 years old, retired school teacher, fit most of his life. For about 3 years, his blood pressure had been creeping up. His doctor had put him on one medication, then added a second. The numbers were better on paper, but Robert felt tired. He felt like his energy was just gone. He was careful with his salt. He exercised 3 times a week. He did everything his doctor told him. And still, every time he checked his blood pressure at the pharmacy machine, it was higher than it should be. He would check it in the morning, high. He would check it after sitting quietly for 10 minutes, still high. He would take his medication, do his walk, eat his salad, and still, the numbers would not cooperate. What frustrated him most was that he couldn't feel anything. There was no pain, no headache most days, just this silent number on a machine that kept telling him something was wrong. One evening, his daughter, who worked as a respiratory therapist, watched him check his blood pressure. She noticed something. She noticed the way he was breathing. Shallow, chest only, almost like a quiet panting. He didn't realize he was doing it. She asked him to try something. She asked him to sit up straight, not rigidly, just comfortably upright, shoulders back slightly, chin level, and then she asked him to breathe slowly. Breathe in for 4 seconds, breathe out for 6 seconds, just 10 cycles, about 2 minutes. He thought she was joking, but he did it. He checked his blood pressure again. It had dropped 8 points systolic in 2 minutes, sitting in his living room. He thought it was a fluke. So he tried it the next morning. Same result, lower reading. He started doing it every morning before checking his blood pressure, and then again in the afternoon, and before bed. Within 3 weeks, his morning readings had dropped consistently. Not drastically, but measurably, reliably lower. When he told his doctor, she was not surprised. She told him that breathing techniques were one of the most underused tools in blood pressure management, that the research on it was strong, and that for some patients, consistent practice contributed to meaningful reductions over time. Robert is not cured. He still takes medication, but his numbers are better. His energy improved, and he finally felt like he had some control over something that had felt completely out of his hands. Here is what was actually happening inside Robert's body. When he slowed his breathing, particularly when he made his exhale longer than his inhale, he was directly stimulating the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the longest nerve in the body. It runs from the brainstem all the way down through the heart, the lungs, and into the gut. And stimulating the vagus nerve activates the parasympathetic nervous system. The brake pedal. When that brake pedal engages, even briefly, blood vessels relax slightly. The heart rate slows slightly. Vascular resistance drops, and blood pressure follows. This is not magic. This is physiology, and it works the same way inside your body. Now let me give you a simple way to check whether your nervous system might be stuck in that high alert mode. This is not a medical test. Think of it as a body check-in. Sit quietly for a moment. Place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. Now breathe normally. Don't change anything. Just notice. Which hand is moving more? If your chest hand is moving and your belly hand is barely moving, you are a chest breather. You are using only the upper portion of your lungs. Shallow chest breathing keeps the sympathetic nervous system subtly activated. It is one of the most common and most overlooked contributors to elevated blood pressure. Here is the second check. Count your resting breaths for 1 minute. Just sit and count each breath in and out as one. A healthy resting breathing rate is somewhere between 12 and 18 breaths per minute. Many people with chronic elevated blood pressure are breathing 20, 22, even 24 or more times per minute at rest. That is faster than it should be. And faster breathing is both a sign of and a contributor to elevated sympathetic nervous system activity. Here's a third simple observation. Do you clench your jaw when you concentrate? Do your shoulders creep up toward your ears during the day without you noticing? Do you hold your breath when you read something difficult or check your phone? These are all signs of persistent, low-level sympathetic activation. The body stuck in mild fight or flight mode all day. If any of these sound familiar, what I am about to share with you is particularly important. Let me walk you through what I call the 2-minute blood pressure reset. This is not a cure. It is not a replacement for your medication or your doctor's advice, but it is a proven, physiologically sound practice that engages your parasympathetic nervous system and can contribute to measurable reductions in blood pressure when done consistently. Start by finding a comfortable chair. Sit up straight, not rigid, not slumped, but with your spine naturally tall. Imagine someone placed a book on your head and you are simply balancing it. Your chin should be level, not jutting forward. This posture matters. Forward head posture compresses the carotid sinus, an important pressure-sensing structure in your neck. Sitting upright removes that compression and helps the body accurately regulate its own blood pressure signals. Place your hands comfortably in your lap. Unclench your jaw. Let your tongue drop away from the roof of your mouth. Now close your eyes. Take a slow, gentle breath in through your nose. Not a gasp, not a forceful inhale, just a slow, steady, gentle inhale that lasts about 4 seconds. And as you inhale, let your belly rise first. Let the breath go down before it goes up. Belly, then lower ribs, then chest, in that order. This is called diaphragmatic breathing, and it is the exact opposite of chest breathing. When the diaphragm drops down to pull air in, it actually massages the vagus nerve fibers that run alongside it. This directly stimulates parasympathetic activity. Now breathe out. Your exhale should be slow, and long, through slightly parted lips or through your nose, whichever is comfortable. The exhale should last about 6 seconds, longer than your inhale. Why longer? Because the exhale phase of breathing is when the parasympathetic system is most active. When you breathe out, your heart rate actually slows slightly. Every long exhale is a direct signal to your cardiovascular system to relax. Breathe in for 4. Breathe out for 6. Keep going. Don't force anything. If 4 and 6 feels too long, start with 3 in and 5 out. The ratio matters more than the exact count. Do this for 10 cycles. That is approximately 2 minutes. That is it. That is the 2-minute blood pressure reset. Now, here is the key. This is not a one-time trick. This is a practice. The research shows that the more consistently you use it, the deeper the retraining effect on your autonomic nervous system. Done once, it provides a brief, measurable drop. Done twice a day for weeks, it begins to shift your baseline. Your nervous system learns that this is the new normal, and that is where the real blood pressure benefits begin. But let's go further, because breathing is just one part of the picture. There are several other daily habits that work through similar mechanisms: calming the nervous system, relaxing vascular tone, reducing inflammation in blood vessel walls, and when combined with the breathing practice, they create something more powerful than any single action alone. Let me walk you through them. The first is morning posture and neck release. Many people wake up with their head already in a forward position, from sleeping on too many pillows or from how they look at their phone first thing. Within 5 minutes of waking, before you check anything, try this. Sit at the edge of your bed, roll your shoulders back gently 3 times, then slowly tilt your right ear toward your right shoulder, hold for 10 seconds, and then the other side. Then slowly bring your chin to your chest and hold for 10 seconds. This releases tension in the sternocleidomastoid muscle, the large muscle that runs along both sides of your neck. Chronic tightness in this muscle compresses the carotid sinus and contributes to inaccurate blood pressure regulation signals. Gentle daily stretching here is something very few people with high blood pressure are ever told about. The second habit is cold water on the face. This sounds almost too simple. But splashing cold water on your face, particularly around your eyes, your nose, and your forehead, activates something called the diving reflex. The diving reflex is a primal parasympathetic response. Within seconds, it slows the heart rate and lowers vascular resistance. You don't need to dunk your head in a bucket. Just splash your face with cold tap water, morning or afternoon, for about 30 seconds. It is a quick, free, reliable vagal activation. The third habit is walking, but specifically slow walking, not power walking, not speed, just slow, deliberate, pleasant walking for 20 to 30 minutes. When you walk slowly, without rushing, without checking your phone, you activate a gentle rhythmic stimulation of the peripheral blood vessels in your legs, which creates a pumping effect that reduces peripheral vascular resistance. But here is what makes slow walking different from fast walking for blood pressure specifically. Fast walking, especially if you push yourself, can temporarily activate the sympathetic system during the walk. Slow walking keeps you in a parasympathetic state the whole time. The fourth habit involves your diet, but not in the way you might expect. Yes, sodium matters. Most people know that, but here is what most people don't realize. The balance between sodium and potassium in your diet may matter even more than sodium alone. Potassium tells your kidneys to flush out more sodium. It directly relaxes blood vessel walls through a mechanism involving the sodium-potassium pump in smooth muscle cells. When your potassium intake is low and your sodium intake is high, blood vessels tighten and blood pressure rises. The foods richest in potassium are not dramatic or expensive. Bananas, yes, but also avocados, sweet potatoes, white beans, leafy greens like spinach and Swiss chard, salmon, yogurt, and winter squash. Getting enough potassium every day is one of the most consistently supported dietary interventions for blood pressure in the research literature. Magnesium is another critical mineral that most people over 50 are quietly deficient in. Magnesium acts like a natural calcium channel blocker, which is exactly the mechanism of one class of blood pressure medications. It relaxes smooth muscle in the blood vessel walls, allowing vessels to dilate. Foods high in magnesium include dark leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, black beans, dark chocolate above 70% cocoa, almonds, and whole grains. The fifth habit is evening wind down. After 8 p.m., your body is designed to begin its shift toward parasympathetic dominance. But if you are watching stimulating content, scrolling through upsetting news, or having difficult conversations late in the evening, you are actively preventing that shift. Try this. After 8 p.m., dim the lights in your home if possible. Switch off the overhead lights and use a lamp. This signals to your melatonin system that the day is winding down. And with lower light comes a lower cortisol baseline, which directly supports lower overnight blood pressure. Do your breathing practice again at this time. 10 cycles before sleep. It is perhaps the most important of your 2 daily sessions, because this one helps ensure that the nocturnal blood pressure dip actually happens during the night. The sixth habit is hydration, and this is underestimated. Mild dehydration reduces blood volume and causes the body to compensate by constricting blood vessels, which raises blood pressure. Many older adults are chronically mildly dehydrated because the thirst sensation diminishes with age. They simply don't feel thirsty even when they need water. A simple rule: drink a glass of water first thing in the morning before anything else, and aim for your urine to be a pale straw yellow throughout the day. Dark yellow urine is a reliable sign of dehydration. Now let me tell you about the timeline, because this is important. When you start the 2-minute breathing practice consistently, twice a day, morning and before sleep, here's what the body typically goes through. In the first 3 to 5 days, you may notice a small measurable reduction after each session. 8 to 12 points systolic is not uncommon in people with elevated readings. This is the acute vagal effect. It is real, and it is immediate. But it fades within an hour or two if the nervous system has not yet been retrained. This is why the first few days can feel discouraging. People think it isn't working. But what is actually happening is that the practice is beginning to leave a trace on the nervous system, like footprints in soft soil. In the first 2 to 3 weeks, if you are consistent, you may start to notice your morning baseline readings trending slightly lower. Not dramatically, but consistently. This is the nervous system beginning to spend more time in parasympathetic mode, even without the active practice. Some people also notice that their sleep feels a little deeper, that they feel slightly less wired in the mornings. These are signs that the autonomic nervous system is shifting. At the 4 to 6 week mark, many people who combine the breathing practice with the posture work, the dietary changes, the slow walking, and the evening routine begin to see meaningful changes in their baseline readings. Now, I want to be completely honest with you here. The degree of change varies widely from person to person. For some people, these practices contribute to significant, measurable reductions. For others, the change is more modest. It depends on the underlying causes of your blood pressure, your medications, your health history, and your consistency. These practices are not a replacement for medical treatment. They are powerful tools that work alongside it. And the most important thing is this: by engaging your parasympathetic nervous system, by reducing chronic vascular inflammation through better nutrition, by improving sleep quality, and by using your breath as a daily reset, you are addressing root-level contributors that medication alone does not reach. You are giving your body the conditions it needs to help regulate itself. At 6 months of consistent practice, combined with dietary improvements and better sleep habits, some people find that their doctor considers reducing their medication dose. Not everyone, but some. And even for those whose medication stays the same, the practice matters. Because lower vascular tone means less strain on the heart with each beat. Better sleep means less overnight stress on the cardiovascular system. Higher potassium and magnesium means less vascular inflammation over time. Every single one of those things reduces the long-term risk of heart attack, stroke, and kidney damage, the real dangers that high blood pressure creates. You may not feel your blood pressure, but your heart feels every single elevated beat. Your blood vessel walls feel every surge. And over years, that accumulation leaves damage. The practices in this video, done with quiet consistency, help prevent that accumulation. Now, an important conversation about when to see a doctor. If your blood pressure is consistently above 180/110, please do not rely on these practices alone. That level requires urgent medical evaluation. Please see your doctor or go to an urgent care immediately. If you are currently on blood pressure medication, do not stop or reduce it without talking to your doctor first, even if your numbers improve. Improvement is a reason to have that conversation with your doctor, not a reason to make changes on your own. If you experience sudden severe headache, vision changes, confusion, chest pain, difficulty speaking, or weakness on one side of your body, those are potential signs of a hypertensive crisis or stroke. Please call emergency services immediately. Do not wait. These practices are powerful, but they are tools for long-term management and support, not emergency treatment. If you have any doubt about your readings or your symptoms, please involve your doctor. A good doctor will welcome the information that you are actively supporting your health with these practices. Let me leave you with something that I hope truly stays with you. Your body wants to be in balance. That is not a spiritual idea. It is a biological fact. The entire design of your autonomic nervous system is built around returning to equilibrium. The parasympathetic system exists precisely to pull you back from the edge whenever the gas pedal has been pressed too long. Your blood vessels are lined with cells that release chemicals designed to relax vascular tone. Your breathing is literally wired to your heart rate through direct nervous system connections. Your kidneys are constantly monitoring, adjusting, and recalibrating to maintain the right pressure. Every system in your body is oriented toward balance. What high blood pressure often represents is not a broken system. It is an overwhelmed system, a system that has been running too hard for too long, without the right signals that it is safe to slow down. Your job, and the job of these practices, is to provide those signals. When you sit tall, breathe slowly, exhale long, eat foods that feed your blood vessel walls, drink enough water, walk without rushing, and give yourself quiet evenings, you are not doing a trick. You are speaking your body's own language, and your body, even at 65 or 70 or 75, still knows how to listen. The beauty of the 2-minute reset is not just that it works in 2 minutes. It is that over time, those 2 minutes become a conversation. A daily act of telling your nervous system, I hear you. You can slow down now. We are safe. And slowly, gradually, with patience and consistency, your nervous system begins to believe it. And when your nervous system believes it, your heart rate settles. Your vessel walls relax, your kidneys find their balance, And that number on the machine, the one that has worried you, the one that brought you here today, begins, quietly, to move in the right direction. You have not been failing to manage your blood pressure. You simply haven't been given the full picture. Now you have it. Start today, not tomorrow. Today, 2 minutes, morning and evening. Your heart has been working for you every single second of every single day of your life. 2 minutes, twice a day, is a very small thing to give it back.